Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Data Standard Audio Experience. I'm your host, Catherine Tao. Today, we have Parag Shrivastava, the leader of Data for Next Gen Transformation Program at Hewlett Packard Enterprise. And today, we're speaking about the 3 data tracks. So, welcome to the show, Parag. It's such a pleasure to have you today.
Yeah, thank you, Catherine. Thank you so much for inviting me to this show, and I'm looking forward to this podcast. Being part of this podcast, one of the core reasons of this podcast for me is to be able to discuss the current trends as well as be part of the community and share. So happy to be here.
Yeah, and we're very excited to hear more about all of your insights and your experiences today. So, let's get started with more about your experiences. Could you tell the audience more about your background?
Yeah, sure, Catherine. So personally, I'm a leader of data for next generation transformation at HP Enterprise, which includes as a service transformation, which HP is undertaking. And primarily, what as a service transformation means is traditionally, like HP Enterprise, what had been selling are hardware, software, storage, compute, and also the hybrid cloud solutions. But many of these solutions are sold as one-time event and a one-time deal, if you will. And what that changes the paradigm is that yes, that's a traditional business model. The things have been changing, but as you can see in last few years, the things have changed to a more subscription-based businesses as a service businesses. Like you take any example, any other company, cars are being offered as a service and like our daily lives are being offered as a service. One is in it gives more flexibility to consumers and it makes very simple for consumers to buy, and that's what HPE is also doing. So with that as a service transformation, it requires a lot of data, and data more from the standpoint of how we can really help improve the customer experience, improve the user experience. And that's what the goal of the team is. And I lead the data track from an IT standpoint. So that's where I am. Personally, I'm located in San Francisco Bay Area. So happy to be part of the technology community and also same time with like-minded professionals here.
Yeah, absolutely. And today we're going to be talking more about the 3 tracks that you had talked to me about offline a bit. And so these 3 tracks that you mentioned to me they all have to do with data and they're all data related. So the 3 tracks are data governance, data analytics, and data platforms. And so what has your experience been like in the data field for all of these kind of tracks?
So the 3 core components that my team does and I'm responsible for is data governance, data analytics, and data platforms. And the reason for that is if you the data governance is a very important topic, and I will keep it as number one because number one is the quality and completeness of data. So that's the core objective. Any analytics we generate, it's the 2 things. Is the data right and is the data complete? For example, if a customer has multiple locations, it's worldwide customer, and you can take many customers like this where there is data from Asia Pacific, there is data from Europe, there's data from Americas. If we look at, and many times those systems across these regions are different. So how do you bring that all together? How the completeness of data occurs, how the harmonization of the data occurs, and how we really look at how the data is served. Is it being served in a consistent way to serve the analytics? Like, for example, if I take customer lifetime value, then I have to look at all the different aspects and make the right definitions and serve it. So data governance becomes a very important track, and it has both perspectives, business and technology perspective. Especially from a technology perspective, what I drive is the data quality, data consistency, data governance that is available on the platform. So that's track number one. Track two is primarily around analytics. And this is more like how you really serve the customers. Because if you look at a journey of a customer in as a service business transformation, I would give like 5 phases of customer. So customer comes, they do some trials. So that's like acquisition phase. Then they convert. If they really like your service, they convert to that particular piece. So it's conversion. Then you do monetization. So your annual recurring revenue, monthly recurring revenue, other metrics start. Then the next thing is about retention. The company wants to make sure that they continue to retain their service, and then cross sell, upsell. So if you look at this entire journey, at different points of this journey, there are different analytics that can be generated. Number one is look at customer lifetime value. offer them the right what they have bought, what are they likely to buy, what's their propensity to buy things, their personalization based on their where the market segment they are coming from, what the firmographics is. So those type of things I would add like part of analytics that and the data behind it. So that's the second track. And the third track is around platforms. Now, let's say we have the data quality address, data completeness address, we have the analytics that are there. But if the platforms are not fast enough to be able to process this huge amount of data, then there will be a problem. Like our APIs or the services that we are providing have to respond in 500 milliseconds or less. So in order to give a good response, so then we have to have fast data layer, especially working with billions of records and also at the same time be able to serve this information. So data platform is also like the way we put like virtualization layer on our Hadoop platforms and also data cache, how we use ML engineering, all those aspects come into picture.
Yeah, absolutely. And these three data tracks are super important in the data field right now. Everyone touches on a little bit of everything and works with all three of these tracks, almost with any specific job title that you have right now in the data tech kind of field right now. And what are some ways that these three tracks can kind of help with customer insights and analytics?
Yeah, so the way customer insights and analytics will be helped in these three tracks is right from when the customer logs in to any of our, like wherever they can buy, right? In a marketplace, if you will, the storage, compute, network, hybrid cloud. From there on, I mean, can we make their buying experience better? So there's a concept of like, you can say wheel of delight. Can we delight the customer in every step of the wheel? And right from when they are going to be, like, let's say if I just take acquisition phase of a customer, are we able to give them the products that they are looking for? Like, can we that they are likely to buy or that will really help them? So you can say like a product recommendation comes into picture. Same way, can we make their experience easier just by giving them a full visibility into what orders they have placed, what shipments they have, what are their what's their current something called installed base, like so what machines have they installed or what they have already bought, when their contract is expiring. So giving them a full visibility so customer can make their own decisions as to how they can continue to integrate to sort of work with HP. So that's how I would say data analytics helps in every journey of a customer and
Yeah, great.
brings
Yeah.
them closer to, you can say, the company HP.
Yeah, definitely. And working with customers at any business, I know you had mentioned to me offline that it's good to have a kind of a subscription type model to work with these customers. And so, how and why is this model useful toward marketing towards customers?
Yeah, no, I think the industry is changing, and I think definitely the demand for compute, storage, network, hybrid cloud has increased a lot. One of the things we have heard from our CEO also is a consistent theme. One of the very public released information is that HP's storage software entire portfolio went as a service, and that's a significant shift because what is traditionally sold as a device is now available to you as a service. And so customers don't really need to sort of do things on their own end. There is somebody else to take care of their issues of like their tasks related to installation, configurations, getting the footprint around the data centers. So as the service makes a lot of sense, it makes things simple for customers, make the buying decisions easier, and also increases the speed at which they can enable their capabilities.
Yeah, definitely. And just to kind of wrap up the conversation, in terms of data platforms in general, how do you kind of see this advancing in the future in the next coming years, since things are always changing in this specific field?
Yeah, certainly. I mean, I think the if you look at some time back, there was a concept of data lakes, and their companies went for one data lake. But now we are going for more and more data. Like you will find data lakes within the organization. So, for example, you would see there is a data lake for, let's say, a storage group. There is a data lake for the products that have been installed. Then there is an enterprise data lake, and then there are real-time systems that provide that information. Now, a customer would look at the real-time information. They will also be helped by the analytics that gets generated behind the data science that runs behind. So in order to bring that together, you need like you can say concept of a lake house where it's not a data lake but a house of data stores, which could be real time, which are also at the same time like whole information together. So bringing a concept of data lakehouse will be a core for the data platforms. Second one I see is bringing second layer on top of it is a data governance piece, and which is data governance is super important because how you bring all these data lakes and the real-time information together and serve to the analytics. Finally, the top layer is analytics, which will continue to grow. So I feel like the speed and governance would continue to be the key criteria for next few years.
Yeah, I think that's a great point is the speed and also just data lakes in general. I think we've had a few different guests in the past come onto our show and also discuss about data lakes and how much it'll definitely advance in the coming years as well. So it sounds like a lot of people are kind of on the same page about this specific niche kind of growing. And I want to say thank you so much, Parag, for joining us on the show today. We at the Data Standard, we're trying to build a community where everyone can network and collaborate with each other who have data backgrounds, and all data experts come all together. So, what is something that we could do for you?
Yeah, and I think the great point. And first of all, I'm really thank you for your data, your company. I mean, to host these podcasts, I think it really helps to send a message across that yes, there is a community that goes behind. I mean, I'm a big proponent of open source. One of the key things that we are leveraging is very open source, very cutting edge technology, which is Delta Lakes, if you will, delta.io. It's an open source product, and people are contributing to it. So I completely understand the value of open source, where people are contributing, and that community is growing. And that's one of the core ways in which I keep myself motivated because of so much collaboration in this field. So yes, I look forward to being part of this community and also continuing to share on the other platforms.
Yeah, and thank you so much for sharing about all of your great insight and experiences today. And after this call, I'll definitely make sure to connect you with other community members just so you can network as well. And how can everybody find you online to connect with you?
LinkedIn will be the great place. And as I develop some more things, I will continue to share on the forum.
Yeah, definitely. Everyone, please connect with Parag on LinkedIn. And to our audience, for more information on the Data Standard, you can find us at www.datastandard.io, as well as on our LinkedIn and YouTube channel. Thank you so much, Parag, for joining us. It was so great to hear more about everything that you're currently doing, and hope to speak to you again soon.
Yeah. Thank you, Catherine. Likewise. Bye bye.